starts off a dark stage, and then a beam of light. You can see me and my guitar. In the end of time, in the end of time, there was a man who knew the road, and the writing was written on the stone. And then a thin layer of fog comes in around my ankles. Roadies, that means dry ice. We're going to talk about this later. In the ancient time, an artist led the way, but no one seemed to understand. Chimes, Freddie. In his heart he knew the artist must be true. But the legend of the rent was way past due. And then Katie, you come in with the bass. Well, you think you'll be just fine without me, but you're mine. You think you can kick me out of the band. And then Zach, you come in with a face melter, okay? Like, well, there's just one problem there. The band is mine. How can you kick me out of what is mine? And then Hawaii 5-0. You ever see that show? Okay. Well, there's a drum solo in it that goes hardcore. Unless you live hardcore. No, I want the backup singers to be like, well, you're not hardcore. No, you're not hardcore. Unless you live hardcore. Unless you live hardcore. But the legend of the rent was way hardcore. Boom. Big old explosions. Some confetti comes down. And that's all I got so far. It's a work in progress. I liked it, Mr. Schneebly. I thought it was really catchy.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
If the thing is, I think I'm more mad that I just can't fully memorize all the tangents Jack Black would go on and just know them by heart.
Yeah, even though I'd watched this movie countless times, I still screw up classic parts, like little pauses, little like just words that he throws in or little phrases. I'll mix them up or have them backwards. But God, this scene alone is just I mean, that School of Rock is made up of phenomenal scene after phenomenal scene. Like, I think about anything that I can cut from the podcast or anything I can cut from the movie itself. I can't find like a single thing. I can't think of one. No, dude. That's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, the only scene I can think about potentially cutting is when Turkey Sub is like crying about how she can't sing. You know, that's like the only
that was
slow.
Tough.
It's a good
actually
heartwarmer.
Loved it.
It's a good heartwarmer.
Yeah.
It's needed, but I feel
It's
like it's the
needed.
one.
It gave a lot of heart to it.
It's the one scene, in my opinion, that could have been cut for time's
Sub?
sake. Yeah. But maybe that's pulling on the audience. They're like, damn, like I really feel for Turkey Sub, and like
no, I felt for Turkey Sub.
Yeah, I can relate to Turkey Sub at plenty. I've been Turkey Sub many a time.
Or I felt out of place, or like my worth was based on
my
my
you have
weight.
an opportunity. No, we have an opportunity to basically stand up and say like yes to something, but instead out of fear you say no.
Yeah. And or like you are actually valuable, and then because of your own self-image issues, you kind of buckle
Well, dude, that's what Lawrence had, you know?
Lawrence the same way. And that's teenage angst is like, I think Jack Black was like, I'm going to solve your teenage angst by rocking. And like all your teenage angst you can sing about. And again, dude, Richard Linklater, he is phenomenal. He wrote it for sure. Did he direct? No, he directed it.
No, he directed.
Sure.
The writer is that guy Mike White.
It's the real Ned Schneebly who actually wrote it.
And he was on
Can the
Survivor.
real Ned Schneebly please stand up?
He wrote a few other like killer movies as well.
What else?
You know, that one killer movie and that other killer movie.
The movie
ones
with
that
the
really
killer.
killed.
The killer movie.
No, he wrote Nacho Libre.
Oh, yeah,
which
he
I
did.
didn't watch, but I heard is very funny. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Then he wrote that other like Orange County or something.
Orange County is one of my favorite movies. Like I know like I got work tomorrow, but like I
You'd
really
watch
want to
it right
I would
now.
watch it.
It's one of those kinds of movies.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Orange County is one of my
favorite.
favorite, and Jack Black's in it, but he's not the main.
He's
but
just
he's
like
so
a
funny.
side.
He's a supporting actor.
Okay.
But he's so funny. He's like more or less the impetus of like, I like saying impetus, but he kind of always messes. He is one of the reasons the main character's life is messed up all the time.
Okay.
And it's really funny.
He plays a good like
I'm gonna ruin your life.
exactly. He plays a good ruin in your life character.
Yeah.
Jack Black is one of those actors who is
Yeah.
like a Jim Carrey for me.
Yeah.
He embraces the role so incredibly well. It makes it so believable. Like I totally believe that Jack Black's character in School of Rock is what Jack Black really is.
Yeah.
And in a way, I feel like he really is just being himself,
Yeah.
being his personality, like letting himself shine. That's probably how he acts around his own friends and family to a degree.
There's no way
he just amps it
right.
up a bit.
There's no way that was like completely written. He had to improv some of that.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he improvs it so well.
Oh, it's awesome.
You know, that just like Jim Carrey. You know, Jim Carrey would improv probably little things for like Ace Ventura, but like his performance on Ace Ventura is so believable. It's so
funny.
committed. It's so it's phenomenal to
Right.
me. It makes it that much funnier. It makes it that much
Right.
more of a classic movie.
It also made me want to suspend belief, like that this can actually happen in real life. That he can impersonate a substitute teacher, the tight ass principal who like is like a hawk about every little detail, overlooks the fact that like the myriad of red flags with him. The thing is, I love the movie so much that is not really a big critique for me.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what's interesting, and I think we should say this now because we're at the season. This is our season ending episode. Is that we have critiques of other movies, I think, that we think are valid, but like this movie deserves a lot of critique for how stupid, like how insane that it can get, and like you're gonna be like, well, there's all these plot holes, but like you don't care at all because it just kind of seamlessly, like you mentioned earlier, it seamlessly flows, and you start to overlook like
you really
some
do
consistencies because it's so good.
Here's a number of plot holes for me. I'll start from back to forward. So in the very end of the movie, what's so funny is the parents are upset. You know, their kids have been like lied to. They've been being taught by somebody who's not a licensed teacher, a licensed sub at
More
least.
or less, they think they're kidnapped also.
Well, yeah, no, I'm getting that point. So they're in the parent-teacher conference realizing, oh, this guy is a fraud. Now the kids are gone, and they're playing a show. What's really funny about that is you get the parents who find their way pushing to the very front to like, you know, get the front row tickets. That alone already, like if you came up to the show and said, hey, somebody kidnapped my kids, and the guy responded, you say, I don't care. Where's your ticket?
Yeah.
All right, we're already like a plot hole right there. But them getting through and then pushing to the front to be the front row, people covet the front row. That's less likely. And then,
but if I was a parent, I would rip people's heads apart if like a big fat man stole my children.
Okay, and then only the parents whose kids were in the band end up getting the front row, which is really funny. You don't see the roadies' parents in the front row, like the roadies, the people that are the groupies, you know, the security people. Their parents are nowhere to be found. Are they happy and pleased because the other kids perform well? Are they like, oh, okay, well, their kids performed really well. They were in this like this band that got notoriety.
Okay.
So
I
don't give a crap about my kids.
I have to push back a
nothing.
little bit.
Yeah.
And here's where I'm going to push back.
Push away.
I have to push back just slightly, is because during the parent-teacher conference, fake Ned Schneebly, Dewey Finn, Jack Black did fully admit to how gifted they were.
Of course.
And so like part of that is like when they showed up, they're like, oh, look how gifted they are. They're really putting on the show.
I know, but I'm saying
just a slight pushback.
No, that's not a slight
like
pushback.
I can believe it a little bit.
No, you're misunderstanding my point.
Yeah.
Okay.
The parents were there.
Okay.
I'm taking account of all the different kinds of
Think about the students. Think about the students, right?
Everyone.
Do you remember the one student that was on security detail? The kind of heavier set child?
The big boy, yeah.
He was friends with Zach, who was the drummer.
Yeah.
That kid, where were his parents? Are his parents satisfied that during the whole class project of Rock Band, their son was on security detail?
But he did a great job.
Their son was on basically being heavy and being slightly scary detail.
Dude, but he did so well. He did playback of fake Ned Schneebly, Jack Black teaching. Remember, like every time he would have a security camera up, he actually did an amazing job. If actually the whole entire movie hinges on Big Boy,
Oh,
I actually forget his
really?
name. Yes.
I forget his name too.
Yeah, I forget his name, but the whole movie hinges on the fact that he was able to lock shit down constantly.
Really?
So I know we never thought about it until right now, but I'm saying the security cameras and then him putting the playback and everything set up. He even barricaded the doors with soundproof equipment.
Was that all him? I thought
that
was
is him.
No,
That's Fat
I thought
Boy.
that was
That's Big Boy.
No, I thought that was Gordon. Gordon got a shout out.
Which one's Gordon?
Gordon did the lighting. He had the glasses.
Yeah.
He was the one that stressed out. And he's like, "We don't have the lights set to our certain thing."
Yeah.
And he's
yeah.
like, "Gordon, you're gonna figure it out."
Yeah.
I thought Gordon was the mastermind. This dude was just basically like a
No.
mini Hagrid hunchback.
He is a
There
mini
to scare
Hagrid.
off.
He's a definite mini Hagrid.
There to scare off like
Yeah.
your own plot hole fears.
No. I'm telling you, this whole movie would not have happened without Big Boy. That's all I'm saying. Without Big Kid.
I think that's okay. I don't agree with you. I
Dude,
think he played a very small
rewatch
role.
it. You say that, but it's incredibly critical. Incredibly critical.
Okay. No.
If Trunchable or whatever her name is, I don't know. Whatever. Principal
Mrs. Linklater.
Yeah,
no. Principal Mullins.
Principal Mullins. If Principal
Yeah.
Mullins
What'd you call
halfway
her,
through the
Trunch-
movie,
Okay, keep
yeah,
going.
that's from Matilda.
Okay.
So if Trunchable, if Miss Mullins came by and actually opened the door to find out that they were just playing a playback of like a
I know they
cassette
would have been
tape,
so
the
screwed.
movie's gone.
Yeah,
the movie's
hey,
done. It's a whole different movie.
You gotta
So
be
the
one of
point
these.
being,
Well, you had a good run.
yeah,
Movie's
the
over.
movie becomes like Gone Girl after that. No, but so yeah, again, Big Boy, we're forgetting his name, but he is crucial in the fact that the movie kept going in that direction. The
Okay.
fact that they even got to continue practicing is all because of Big Boy. We're forgetting
Okay.
his name completely.
All right. I'll give you Big Boy. How about
Big Boy is a huge it is blowing my mind how much the movie hinges on Big Boy that we don't even know his name.
I think the movie hinges on Gordon more than Big Boy. And you know
Light Man.
Light Man. And you know the redheaded kid who does Santa Marina?
No, what's Santa Marina?
During that whole part where they're playing back.
Ave Maria.
No. When they're playing back and they're pretending like they're in class and Jack Black is recording and he's like
No,
he's like
it's
Columbus had 3 ships. The Nina, the Pinta, and the and then it's like the redheaded kid, he's like Santa Marina? And he's like, Santa Maria? He's like, wrong. He's like, close. Santa Maria.
Santa Maria.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then, okay.
But I think that's again orchestrated by Big Boy.
So you think Big
Boy
Boy's the
is he is the
So
linchpin.
they had
of
to
this
cut a lot of
entire movie.
content of like building up his character.
Yes.
Letting him be,
But they
like a
at
much more instrumental
rewatch the
character.
movie.
Okay.
All critical moments hinged on Big Boy. Even one of the funniest jokes of the entire movie, where he's like, "Hey, Miss Mullins, you're the man,"
Oh,
and then
yeah.
she's like,
Freddie.
and she,
No,
no, that's Big Boy. Big Boy's like, "Hey, Miss Mullins, you're the man," and she's like, "Oh, thank you," and then he starts laughing. That was on the trailer for School of Rock.
Okay.
Big Boy is like subtly like the linchpin of this entire movie.
I will give you that he plays
Critical.
a role.
Arguably the most critical role in this whole thing, or this movie wouldn't even exist.
All right, I
Jack Black would have gotten caught in the first day, but but Big Boy was running security. I'm like you think I'm like not joking. I'm not even like this is 100%.
no, okay. I'm gonna have to.
I'll
go
die
ahead.
on this hill.
I'm gonna go
100%.
ahead and just say you're right. Big Boy played a bigger role than I'm thinking. I'll give you that.
Huge
He did.
role.
Big role. Okay. How about the girls that were considered groupies though? Are their parents okay? Because
No, it's 9.
no, that's a backup singer.
Oh
But
yeah.
are the groupies, are their parents like, oh, the band got big, so my girls who are considered groupies, I don't care. My worries are gone. My complaints with Miss Mullins in the school and like my complaint about, I'm spending so much money and I'm being taught by like an imposter. Oh, what? They've been rocking out? And my girls are the groupies? Dust my hands. I'm done.
Well, Summer called that shit out. She's
Yeah,
like, she's like,
yeah,
Summer's
Summer
like,
was not a
groupies
groupie.
only like sleep with the
They're
band. It's
sluts.
like no,
They sleep with the band.
yeah, and he's like, no, they don't, and I'm like, yeah, they do.
like,
Like
I
as a
Googled it.
viewer, I'm like, that's exactly like what it's like.
Yeah, she tells you like, how would my parents feel, and then he comes up with the best position for her, which is band manager, which is
That
really
is-
funny in my opinion.
Which is great for her.
right. In all honesty,
She played the oboe, didn't she? Yeah, she did.
I
She
thought-
did. She played the oboe.
Really?
Yes.
I don't think she played the oboe. I could have sworn
She
she
did.
played maybe the.
No, I think she said she played the oboe.
No.
That's all she did.
She sung.
But there's no place in a rock band for an oboe player. So and plus she was clerical as my ass. So like all she was yeah, like what
Factoter.
Dewey Finn. This is what he said again. Already not yet Dewey Finn because he was kind of low key Ned Schneebly during that meeting as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but he was already not yet Dewey Finn because he's going to get taken out by the cops. But while he was talking about stuff, he was like, yeah, Summer can be the next president of the United States.
And I'd
I would vote for her today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a great character, and she plays. I mean, she's critical to the movie, in my opinion. She plays a more critical role than Fat Boy.
What did she do as a band manager?
Dude,
he doesn't know shit.
She
Big Boy, and first of all, I said Big Boy, you said Fat Boy.
Oh, I apologize.
Let's move on.
I retract that.
Well,
I retract that.
too bad.
Strike that from the clip, and we'll go back.
We're here.
Big Boy.
Here. This is what we're here. Yep.
Are you sure his name is not Freddie? Freddie's the drummer.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what Big Boy's
when
name
he
is.
says
he actually
when he says
not
Miss
have a
Mullins,
name.
you're the man. What does she call him?
I forget.
She says
that's
Charles.
You know what? He is the unsung
Nate?
hero. Definitely not. He might be, again, rewatch the movie, understanding that he might be the most critical figure in this entire movie.
Okay, fair enough.
We wouldn't get No, You're Not Hardcore Unless You Live Hardcore. We wouldn't get Rent. We wouldn't get half that shit if Big Boy wasn't running security.
All right,
they wouldn't be able to practice. He is incredibly important. It's insane. He is making sure this movie goes.
I think in one of the clips, like one of the B-roll clips, like he is like handling some sort of like electronics, like almost like a soldering kit or something like that. I really think that should have gone to Gordon only. Also, who was the there's another character I feel like that played an underrated role. But okay, back to the plot holes, really. That's what I care about most. So I think a big plot hole is how the movie resolves. Like the parents of the kids that weren't involved in the band are going to be pretty upset. Another big plot hole, if you roll it back farther, is just the well, I guess maybe I'm jumping to the very beginning, but all the red flags.
Okay, you can jump around.
All the red flags when he met Mrs. Mullins. That first first day, he says, "Hello, do I get paid in cash? Can you make it out to Dewey Finn for tax purposes?"
And this is the number one
Can
elementary
I get
school
off
in the entire
early?
state,
Yeah.
whatever state they're in.
Can I get off early? And then when he goes in and he starts to spell his name, dude, that is just a beautiful. the third E, and then he erases it. And then
just call me Mr. S.
It's just
Again,
beautiful.
I want to go back earlier when he's like, "Hello, this is Ned Schneebly." He doesn't talk like that's the rest of the movie.
That's a killer point.
So the fact that his voice completely changes.
Insight.
I would love to see a clip where he's like, I just like messing around on the phone. It's like, oh, okay, that's like, at least she noticed. At least the tight ass principal like definitely noticed all the discrepancies in your story and your voice and everything.
And just let it roll. Just let it go.
Or when he's like, it's like, oh, where did you learn that? In the School of Unusual Methods. Yeah,
Dr.
like,
von Winkelwand.
Dr. von Strudelsberg.
Yes.
It was so funny.
Well, no, that was the other plot hole.
Another Jim Carrey
moment. When she
moment.
sits in the class, right?
Yeah.
You get that beautiful, maybe 2-minute clip where he sings about, math is a wonderful thing. Math is a wonderful thing. Math is a really cool thing.
And 24 is 45 more.
There he goes. So get off your act, let's do some math. Math. 3 minus 4 is
-1.
In 6 times a billion is
6 billion.
That's right. In 44 is a multiple more of what is the answer, Martha? I don't know. 44
is it's like 55 more.
Yeah.
44 is 25 more than.
Yeah.
No, 35 more. No, yeah.
Then 35 more.
Yeah, 44 is 35 more than.
What is the answer, Martha?
9. No, it's 8. No, it's 9.
I was just testing you. It's 9. And that's a magic number. And then it cuts scene. The problem is this. Is he really, when she was sitting in the class to audit for the afternoon, it was like you get like a catch of the clock or something. It's like 1 1:30. So you get a 2-minute clip about how he practices via the guitar. What is he doing until 3 o'clock or 3:30 when class actually gets out? There's a lot more content that he's having to bluff that you as the viewer don't get any insight into. But like, he never looked at textbooks. He never had like lesson plans or anything like that. Do you really think he was BSing the entire time for another 2 hours?
There's no way.
That is really
what
hard
could he
to
have
believe.
done? What could he have done?
I don't know.
It's like I went to the school of unusual methods from Dr. von Schrottelsberg. Yeah. Okay, so plot. Okay,
that to me is another big plot
That
hole.
is a huge plot hole.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Here's another plot hole.
Yeah.
When he gets I think he calls her Ross.
Yeah,
like her
Ross.
first name
Yeah.
or something.
Ross Mullins.
Yeah, but when he gets Miss Mullins out and she has that beer, she doesn't have more than a single sip before she's already
She's a
feeling it.
lightweight. That's not a plot hole.
Is that a real thing? You can have
Being a
one
light-
sip?
I know someone who's had a third of a Four Loko, the new kind, and has felt it. And it's a tall man.
I feel like she was more than just feeling it, but okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was a minor plot hole to me. Minor.
Yeah. It's a minor plot hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a minor plot hole.
Okay. But okay, again,
It's a plot hole this, plot hole that.
yeah. Yeah. But again,
The other plot hole is, I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
Unless they keep their apartment door unlocked, is when Dewey Finn is busted and he's sleeping and the kids go to pick him up. First off, the school bus is parked like in the middle of the street. Secondly, they know his apartment number. That's kind of odd.
That's
they know where he
pretty
lives. They
sweet.
know his apartment number. And the door just happens to be unlocked while he's sleeping.
that
just-
makes sense.
It's hard to believe.
Dude, he's an irresponsible man-child.
Yes,
There's
but
just
Ned
no
Schneebly,
plot
but
hole
if he
there.
was sleeping and there was nobody else home, you would assume then that Ned Schneebly and girlfriend have left.
Ned
They
Schneebly
seem
is
to be
arguably
irresponsible.
irresponsible too, and only gets anything done because his girlfriend's a
That's true.
massive
Yeah.
control freak.
That's true. Shout out to Sarah Silverman. She plays the best bitch.
Best.
Absolutely.
Because
Just-
she's not really.
it's
It doesn't
phenomenal.
seem like she is in real life or any other role she's ever
no,
played.
but she
She-
kills
great
it
acting.
in this role. Absolutely.
And I hate it. Like, you hate her from
Yeah.
top to bottom.
yeah.
Character you can really hate.
Mm-hmm.
I
When the biggest stick it to her is when Ned is finally
Right.
like, when he's like, I'm gonna go to the show, and she's like, oh, you're gonna go to the show. He's like, when are you gonna start finally sticking up for yourself?
And then I close the door on you
Boom.
while you're talking.
Yeah.
It's like you're just so annoying.
the whole audience and crowd, they play that scene perfectly.
Yeah.
The audience just is like, oh yes,
Woo! Yeah, just like,
Absolutely.
and then they go to the rock show. And then, okay, this is, I think we're
You
talking.
had a thing for Spider, I will say, just before you get into your point.
Spider.
You had a
it's like,
small
so
thing
you're
for
like really
Spider.
hot. Spider's like, it's like, oh, is it hot in here? And she's like, you're hot. It's like, oh, so like, are you, do you need to like,
Are you warm?
Are you warm? Yeah. Are you warm?
What?
It's like, what? It's
You're
like,
hot.
what?
I could see you in one of those spider jackets.
Yeah.
Truly,
If you could
on
buy,
your bike.
for my birthday, can you get me a little spider jacket?
I'll tell you this: for your birthday, I will look at a thrift
I'll
store
wear it. I'll
for
wear it.
a spider jacket.
But the thing is, a spider jacket is really just kind of long leather shoulder pads, and that's about it.
True. It's basically just arm and shoulder coverings with
Yeah.
a little bit of upper back. You're covering.
Oh yeah,
those-
you're right.
You're covering like traps, low neck, upper rhomboids maybe, and that's probably it. You're
God.
leaving the rest of the back and chest
Yeah.
exposed.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
It's just been on my mind.
Yeah.
It's not a plot hole because I think what we're saying are plot holes aren't actual plot holes. They're just hard to believe.
Okay.
So it's really hard to believe that Summer goes to this old man bus driver and says, "Hey, we're gonna go pick up this teacher,"
That's
and
hard
then
to
and then he
believe.
drives a bus full of kids without any type of
Yeah, that's
order.
really irresponsible.
It's hard to
from the
believe,
bus
but do I
driver.
think it's possible? It's not. Like, I don't know if it's a plot. I can't call it like a plot hole. I can just say like the plot is driven by incredible,
Yeah.
like insane luck.
Yes.
But also, Big Boy is certified.
what Big Boy had his hand in the bus situation, you think?
Oh, dude.
How did Big Boy
How
did Big
dude,
Boy
I'm turning
work
into a
one over
huge-
onto the bus driver?
I'm turning into a huge School of Rock conspiracy theorist that Big Boy is really behind every possible thing, and like he's Jack Black's guardian angel. Like it's almost like if Jack Black did like a quantum leap back and like was a child and then protected his adult self. That's what it seemed like Big Boy was doing the entire time.
Yeah.
But
No, I feel
anyway,
that.
so yeah, when Summer was like, "We're gonna go pick this guy up," and the bus driver's like, "Oh, okay," that
He was a cornbread heifer, man.
he
really was.
He was a cornbread heifer. He was a corn-fed heifer.
He was a corn-fed heifer who was cornbread heifered.
Yeah,
Absolutely. He was working at Domino's part-time.
he like anytime like a freaking 11-year-old girl tells me what to do with a bus full of kids and I do it, I must have like some fucking problems.
You have some serious cognitive impairment.
Well, I must be like such a people pleaser that I'm like, oh God, like she's telling me something, like this 11-year-old's telling me what to do very authoritatively. I just need to do it. So I'm gonna take all these kids and like pick up like some dude who's not even a teacher, and we're gonna take them all to a rock show. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Again, imagine the bus driver. Imagine
rock band.
Yeah. Imagine the old man bus driver who's not only taking a bus full of kids without a chaperone to pick up to go to an apartment, but then to go to a rock star venue.
Yeah.
And then drop them all off, no questions asked.
Yeah, that dude was living on the edge.
Maybe
he was a
again,
cornbread heifer.
Dude, he is. I think there's so many underrated players in this movie that I haven't thought about, but definitely Bus Driver and Big Boy I've never thought about ever seriously until right now. But they
do play big roles.
But like if you were to like, hey, we're gonna interview both of you. I'm so curious what their story is. Like what
a Netflix behind the scenes sort of thing.
All I need to know is what that bus driver actually had going through his mind, that he just does everything 11-year-old kids tell him.
Yeah, that would be his statement.
Yeah.
Like, well, for the longest time, I made decisions for myself, but
It's like, I know I'm the bus driver for the #1 elementary school in the world, and to be honest, that's why I do exactly what they tell me.
Dude, that's beautiful. Here's another little plot hole, dangly tidbit,
Yeah.
doodle bit that you might think.
Diglet.
All right, Jack Black, when he's subbing, before he finds out that they play music, he doesn't know that they're even supposed to be in music or whatnot, because Miss Dumbum has to bust in and say, "Hey,
Principal Mullins,
you guys need to be in class." He's in the urinal taking a piss.
Yeah.
And he hears music. I think that's really, really, really unlikely because
you got a bass.
Because he walks up like maybe 2 or 3 floors before he comes across the classroom. And you know what's even funnier is because when he's outside the classroom, what do you hear? You hear faint music. So you're saying it's already faint outside the classroom door. It's even less faint in the bathroom 2 to 3 floors down, but he happens to hear it. That to me is, again, another just stroke of luck.
Again,
genius.
Hard to believe, not necessarily a plot hole. Because what if they had like a speaker or a vent? Like they might have the speaker to the music room to the boys' bathroom.
Oh yeah, that would make sense from a design standpoint,
Just
like an
design,
architectural standpoint.
like why the hell is that a plot hole?
The school was like bidding on. They were bidding
They
with
are the
architecture
#1
companies. They were saying, okay, who can design our school the most appropriately? They got like 4 or 5 architecture companies lined up. They're submitting RFPs and they're going to bid defenses. And at the end of them, they're selecting the one that's saying, we're gonna pipe the music from classroom like 302 down into the boys' bathroom. That is the selling point from the architecture firm.
Yeah.
That to me is hard to believe. It's more than a plot hole.
Yeah. The other plot hole is that he just goes to the student's restroom anyway and urinates when it's like an elementary school, which I feel like is just not right.
Well, that's a good
The
question.
amount of violations that
question.
Dewey Finn / fake Ned Schneebly does is insanity. Of
Like
just like
eating the
boundary
sub
issues.
the first day?
Yeah,
or
like
what?
telling a girl, hey, you need to give me your food first day. Like it's just like he has
Turkey
huge
sub.
turkey sub.
Yeah.
He has huge boundary issues.
Yeah,
he goes
does.
to the students, the elementary kids, like bathroom. It's like, you're a teacher, you can't be in here, dude.
Well, let me ask you this: is that a thing? Did you ever have that in school?
I
like,
never
the
had
teachers
I
can't
never
go to
had
use
a
the student
teacher
bathroom. Do they
go
have like
in.
their own like teacher
You
restroom?
rewatch the movie. The urinals are like they're like 3 feet high.
Okay.
They're like really tiny.
No, that's a good point. I just didn't think that was a thing
Yeah. So
for
that's
schools. Like
that's another
teachers
thing.
have to use
But
their
it's
own
not
separate
really a
restroom.
plot hole because he has no clue what he's doing either. So like if anything, it
That's
might
true.
even make even more sense that he's in there because he doesn't even know there's a teacher's lounge. He doesn't know anything.
Yeah. Oh, and then here is the
Yeah,
other little thing that I noticed during the movie was when Mullins, they're in the teacher's lounge, and Mullins announces that there's going to be parent-teacher conferences. Dewey Finn is pouring himself a coffee. Well, he burns his hand, and then what does he do? He's actually applying some sort of like ointment with a knife. It could be either butter. Is it like cream? Is it sugar? It's a very strange thing. Like it looks like he's applying butter after the burn, but on that cart, it's only really coffee supplies. So the fact that like they had butter on the coffee
They had a stick
table,
of butter on that bad boy.
that is such a strange, like, weird thing to notice and to do and to include in the movie and with no explanation. Like, I've been racking my brain. Like, what is he spreading on his hand?
I
on
love
his burn?
that has plagued your mind
It
for
has.
a long time. I've never noticed it until you
The only
mentioned
thing
it.
I can think of is this. There's been a big movement within like the paleo community over the past like 5 years to put butter
not
in
in
your
2004.
coffee. No,
when this movie came
exactly
out.
to put butter in your coffee, make yourself a little bit of like bulletproof coffee, some sort of like
Why is it bulletproof?
Dade Asprey. I don't know. They put like butter and MCT oil and other stuff like that.
Dude, I'm gonna
know.
keep listening to you,
The
but like
point-
I really don't know what you're saying.
The point is, maybe the school was so like future health,
Oh my
like trendy
goodness.
conscious.
So
that they
again,
actually
ignore
had
the
butter
most,
on the coffee
right,
table.
exactly. And
because
I'm,
they were catering
right.
to those that are into bulletproof coffee.
I'm
And
for it.
This was a shout out, a subliminal to those that are living the paleo lifestyle.
Wow.
Maybe.
Again, I can get behind that,
Maybe.
but you have to explain how someone is so on the ball yet misses all the red flags with Dewey Finn. The red flags are
Yeah.
like just abundant.
Okay.
It's amazing. But then again, so you're saying someone who's so clueless to Dewey Finn is like, I'm going to put some butter for some future paleo shit. It's like
Yes.
you might be living in 2022, but you're missing out on 2004. Or when did this movie come out? I want to say 2004.
I don't know. I think it was probably
It might have
before
it might have been
2000
sixth
2004.
grade. So sixth grade would have been. It might have been 2003.
No, I think
2002.
2004 is a good guess, but
It could be
'cause I remember
2003.
watching this movie like every single night on vacation with my
Yeah.
family. I was not in high school. My brother started high school in 2006. No. He graduated college or he graduated high school in 2006. I don't know when he started then. Maybe 2002. So it could be around that time frame. But what I was going to say was no. Did he graduate 06? Yeah. Then I would have been a freshman in 2006 or 2005, 2006. There's no way this movie was then. It must have been 2003, 2002.
It might have been 2002 because I was a sixth grader and I got a guitar from this movie. I saw this movie in theaters with my grandpa, and I'm like, I need to get a guitar.
Wow.
I have to play music. And I begged my parents to play drums, but they wouldn't let me.
Wow.
Because they don't want all the noise.
Spazzy McGee.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I want to be Freddie.
Wow.
I actually didn't want to be Freddie. I wanted to be Zach because I thought Zach was
He's
the coolest.
so cool. Yeah.
And just he was so good. I'm like, if that kid
Yeah.
can do it, I can do it. So it's like he's in elementary school. I'm a big middle schooler.
Yeah.
Like if this elementary school kid could do it, I could definitely do it.
Wow.
And so I went and got a guitar. Like I like begged my parents and they're like, we'll give you a guitar. I got guitar lessons. I sucked. I was horrific.
Of course.
I was so bad.
You don't start good at all. You start in a terrible
I tried. I
place.
remember like Mr. Omen, our band teacher, we paid him for music lessons. And he's like, here's how to play a chord. And my like little like sixth grade fingers were so dainty and girly. And there's no way I could even play a chord. And I'm like, how the hell does this elementary school kid rock like that? And I can't even play a chord. And so I tried to learn like a couple things and I sucked and I quit like within a year.
Yeah.
But I guess my point being is that School of Rock made me go out and buy a guitar and beg my parents to buy a guitar.
Wow.
It had it had a huge effect on me.
Wow. That's powerful, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I've always wanted to be like good musically because of that movie. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want to play. I want to do something musically, and I've always sucked at everything musically.
Yeah. I mean, same.
Yeah.
Lawrence inspired me to play the piano.
He's like, I'm not cool.
He's like, I'm not. He's like, hey, Mr. S. He's like, yeah, what's up, man? He's like, I don't think I should be in the band.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like,
Exactly.
he's like, I'm not cool.
He's like,
People in bands are
why?
cool.
He's like,
I'm not cool.
yeah, I don't think I should be in a band. He's like, why not? He's like, people in bands are cool.
I'm not cool.
I'm not cool. It's like, dude, yeah, you are like the
You're
way
the
that you
cool-
play.
It-
It's like, he's like, why do you say that? He's like, nobody ever talked to me. Dude,
Yeah.
that one really hits hard, dude. Hurts hard. So hard.
It does.
It's beautiful.
It hits really hard.
It's beautiful.
Um,
when he says nobody talks to him,
Yeah.
it makes
that
you,
hurt
makes you
really
feel.
bad because Lawrence is like
You
the
needed
man.
that.
And especially later when he gets like that sick like red like mohawk thing when he's
Oh,
playing,
dude.
it's so cool. But when he goes to
He's
Mr.
like
Steebly,
a-
he's like, okay, he's like, all right, let's what's the handshake? Let's do the handshake.
Yeah, you got to do the handshake.
Okay, what is it?
Oh, the handshake?
Yeah.
All right. So after he says, "Dude, you can be the cat's.
You're the cat's pajamas."
He said, you can be You can be the ugliest sad sack on the planet. But if you're in a rockin' band, you're the cat's pajamas.
Yeah.
You're the bee's
His
knees.
knees.
He's like,
The bee's knees?
he's like bee's
His
knees.
Hmm.
He's like, so he says something else, and then he's like, Lawrence is like, okay, I'll do it. And he's like, Larry. He calls him Larry. Yeah, don't flake out on me. And then he's like, I won't. So he reaches out his hand and he says, welcome to my world. And then he goes, boom, 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 a couple of these. Then he makes a platform. He goes, let's rock today.
Now your turn. Let's rock today.
Slap
it, shoot it, kaboot it.
It's a very long handshake. We'll work on this later. But funny enough, he doesn't say it's a very long handshake. We'll work on this later. He says something
Mandela
else.
effect.
Yeah, I know.
And we actually got strangers who said we said it perfectly. Everybody that I know
Yes.
remembers it that way, but it's
Yes.
different.
Yeah.
It's we'll work on this later. It's a really long handshake.
Yeah, it's something like that's reversed. It's very strange.
It's a
when
Mandela
you hear
effect.
it, when you hear it on the movie, you really can hardly
It's
believe
been
it.
Arguably, since I've been in middle school, I thought that until we watched it recently.
Oh yeah, I've been thinking that for at least
most of my life.
15 years.
I've been wrong for most of my life.
15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do, man?
Yeah.
37 minutes.
Okay.
You got time.
Okay.
Mhm.
But okay, so what were your favorite parts of this movie?
Oh man, it's hard to pick. This movie is in my top 5 favorite movies.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I have to say it.
huge.
I know. It's just, I love this movie from a deep place. Like, as a kid, I watched this movie again. Like, I think I've said this before, but we went on vacation and I watched this like every single night. And
Yeah.
I just loved it. I loved the music that was played. I loved the transition, the characters, the story itself. I love Jack. I fell in love with Jack Black as a character.
Yeah.
And as like
And
just
Spider.
an artist and an actor. I
And
just
Spider, yeah.
was like, and Spider too. Shout out Spider.
We all fell in love with Spider as
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, us kids really love Spider. Oh man, God, that's beautiful.
Sorry.
No, I just loved it. I mean, honestly, I'll give you my top 3 favorite moments from the movie.
Okay.
Starting from my favorite back.
Yeah.
My favorite is the performance at the end.
Yep.
That performance at the end, still to this day, when I watch it, it gives me chills.
Yeah.
I love it that much.
It's
like,
amazing.
I connect with it. I feel it. I let myself go there and feel kind of cheesy and childlike and wonderful. And I really love that part so much.
Yeah.
Their performance and their song is just so good. I love it. It's one of my favorite moments from film. Truly.
Absolutely.
All right.
The struggle it was to get there.
I know.
I'm saying
It's a great payoff.
Can I agree
it's a
with you?
phenomenal climax of the movie. It's
Can I
great.
agree with you? That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
All the hell that they went through. It was rock, dude.
Yeah.
It was rock. It was psycho.
It was sticking to the man in the Oasis.
They did stick it. That. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
No, that's great.
But I agree. It's also my favorite moment.
All right. Number 1, favorite part. Love it. Hands down. Number 2, and this may be potentially, arguable, is what we did in the very beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
That scene when he describes the song that he has and how he brings in people, he's already thinking it all the way through, and he's acting out like what the instruments would sound like. I think that that's so hilarious and clever and funny and likable, and that they end up going to like learn his song. That little scene there is my second favorite from the whole movie. And then third is what we did before, my favorite thing, which is Lawrence coming to Jack Black and saying, I'm not cool enough. That scene right there again
People
is number
in rock
3.
bands are
so
cool.
those are my 1, 2, 3 from the movie of favorite scenes. But I could name probably 5 to 10 others that I really also loved. I love Ned Schneebly's character. Like that guy, Mike White, who plays.
Yeah.
I think that character is hilarious.
Because he's a huge pushover.
It's so
he's
funny.
a doormat.
It's so good. It's so
gets sunned
well played. It's so
all day.
believable.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
It's really fun. It is true because like every time he's on screen, you're expecting him to get bulldozed by everybody.
Yes.
Which is kind of a funny trope.
Yes.
Where it's like, hey, he's on screen just to get fucking railed.
Oh, I just
it's
love
really
it.
funny.
And I love the one scene when Dewey, Ned, and Sarah Silverman's character, Sarah, I think that's her name.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
they're at the table in the movie, and Dewey's trying to convince him to join him in a band after he gets kicked out, and he's like, I'm gonna screw this up now. Damn it. But the punchline is he holds up the photo and he's like, "You're not a working stiff." Oh yeah, that's what he. Yeah. Ned prides himself. He's like, "Yeah, I used to be that. I used to be like, a punk rocker, but now I'm a working stiff, and I'm happy about it." Like he used the term "working stiff," and he's like, which I think is funny in its own right. And he's like, "You're not a working stiff." He's like, "You're the blood sucking demon from maggot death." And he holds up the photo, and he's got like the white paint on his face and the black eyes and the fingernails, and I'm like. He had to dress up like that to get a photo to be printed out to be used for the movie, and I love that.
Yes.
I love that. I love that they did that. That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
So that's another one of my like low key, enjoyable favorite scenes. And then I'll just tell you one more just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
The opening, not the opening scene where Dewey Finn
is playing with his band.
Is playing and he jumps and he passes out.
Yeah.
But is when he walks up to band practice and then and No Vacancy is practicing the song and they say the phrase, he's like I'm hungry, A minor D. They sing the notes of it and he walks up, he's like, "What the fuck? What's going on here?" And he's like, "Hey, you got kicked out, Spider replaced you." And like that heartbreak right there and him trying to
process it.
Yeah, process it by saying read between the lines.
Yeah.
Is also so, it's so sad that's what he does. But then when he walks and he does like the jump and kicks the cymbal, and he turns the guitar around to get through the doorway, that is a powerful move. That scene right there, it just starts the movie out right, man.
Right.
It's really, really good.
Dude, that gets me. I really appreciate that you, like, I don't know, it brings me back. Well, because like I have this rating in my mind, but the more you talk about it, the more like I appreciate it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But okay, so I will also start from best to worst.
Yes, please.
So best for me is, again, to reiterate, the ending is so good. When they played okay. Sorry, the cat just came up to the mic. And Piper. Okay, so the best scene is at the end, when it kind of culminates, where all the crap that everybody went through, they ended up playing a show.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best, and second best for me was Lawrence when he goes up and says, "Let's rock, let's rock, let's rock today."
That's going number 2.
That is number 2, but
that's
number
beautiful.
3,
I respect it.
Number 3 is "Stick It to the Man-itis."
Oh,
or "Stick It to the Man-iosis."
In the Iosis. Okay,
that was when I was like younger. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
You laughed pretty
hard.
I
laughed. I died because all the kids are outside and then they're all like just like laying on the ground like on the street, and it's like because they're about to get out of the band, and they Hi, girl. Come here, Piper girl. So, yeah, they're about to, like, not be able to play at Battle of the Bands. And it's like, it's like we're at Saint Margarita's, and
Saint Margarita at the
like,
children
you
wing.
can tell, like, that is
the
the Jim Carrey moment where, like, I'm like, you are just making this shit up. It's not written. And so Jack Black's like, yeah, we're from Saint Margarita's, the children's wing. It's like, oh wow. It's like, yeah, they have a terminal illness. It's like, oh really?
It's
what
like,
do they
yeah,
have?
look
It's
at
like,
them. They're all terminal.
it's like, yeah, every last one of them. It's like, look, it's like, oh. It's like they have, it's like, oh, what do they have? It's like they have, stick it to the man, neosis. It's like, oh, wow, I've never heard of that before. It's like, good, because it's hell. That to me is like the third best moment of that movie.
Oh, it's such a good
absolutely,
moment.
I like, even to this day, I think it's like the funniest thing ever. It's like, good, because it's hell. And then,
that's killer.
Yeah, again, other favorite moments are just always in the classroom where he's dealing with people and the kids. And because to me, it's like, right, like you have all these kids and like obviously like Dewey's a fuck up. I also think anything where Dewey's in his apartment is so funny. Like even the opening scene where he just keeps like being dramatic about throwing his covers off because he's like sleeping on the fucking ground.
Yeah.
He's like late. I don't like he's sleeping in that nook and he looks like just like a pile of shit. And then like his like the real Ned Stibley's girlfriend hates him.
Oh, I love that.
It's just so funny. The dynamic is so funny. And yeah. So just everything with Ned Schneebly and the girlfriend is funny. Everything with Ned Schneebly just having a dirty blanket and laying on the ground is funny. Because then Summer and like all the other kids wake him up is just hilarious. And he just like always dramatically pulls like a cover over his face. Like that just always got me. I always thought that was funny.
I do like that. That there's a lot of like
anything with
rebellious kind of teenage angst
as an old man.
That's still in Jack Black's character, which is funny because like he's very much he relates to the kids on kind of like a maturity level too. Like
it's sad in a way.
It is sad in a way, but it's funny in a way as well.
Yeah, it's liberating for the kids, I guess.
The one scene that they absolutely needed to keep in, which gave you a big heart for Jack Black and his character, was when he gets kicked out of the band and he's stapling up like, do you want to be in the most awesome rockin' band? And there's like a take tab and it's stapled up and you see two guys walk up and they're like, oh, dude, look at this guy. This guy sucks. And they rip off. It's like, take a flyer. It's like, no. This guy sucks. And then they pan back to Dewey. He's in the background stapling on the other pole. And you see him just like distraught,
man.
like, ugh, I suck. I've been told I suck. That really grows your heart for him.
I know.
That's a huge character development piece that's needed for the movie.
Right. Well,
really
it gives you empathy for him.
It does.
And it's hard because like he is kind of a loser.
He is.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you as an audience member want to associate with such a loser?
Yeah.
Well, you got to feel like what it feels like to be rejected, what it feels like to not have your dreams pan out,
to
have people who are part of your dream choose different paths.
Yeah.
I mean, there are all these things in the movie that resonate with the human experience.
Also, imposter syndrome is huge.
Ooh.
Well, like, I mean, like, imagine he's living a life where he's like, he never would have gotten that taste unless he pretended to be somebody else.
I know.
So he got a taste of, like, for example, Principal Mullins, the #1 elementary school principal, whatever, respects him. Is like, oh wow, like you clearly like, where'd you like learn from, and like, and he's like, so it's really interesting. I think that's kind of the enjoyable part is like this guy comes from like getting disrespected constantly to I'm gonna pretend to be somebody who's respectable, and then all these people just suddenly respect me. The kids respect him. Principal Mullins respects him, and that's kind of like I think I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing him just like experience like what it's like to be respected.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
also the hilarious thing, like even when I was a kid, I thought it was funny where he's like, your kids touch me, and I'm pretty sure I touched them too.
Yeah.
That shit killed me when I was like a middle schooler. It murdered me. I'm like, that is the funniest like play on words or whatever. It killed me.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: when the cops came to talk to him, I'm like, he doesn't get arrested. Like, what happens when you impersonate someone?
That's a plot hole.
Would you be arrested?
Yes.
Okay, you would go to jail?
Yes, because
So he's back in his apartment
It's
the
an
next
elementary
day.
school.
Yeah, you would think that there's going to be more processing and maybe even prosecuting.
Later, yeah.
Maybe they set his court date he got out on bail.
Maybe they didn't press charges.
Okay.
But it is super criminal. So like part of that means they don't need to press charges for them it could be like what state were they in?
Good question. I don't know if they even name a state.
Let's call it New York. So it would
Yeah,
be
I could see it
would
could
be
be in-
New York versus Dewey Finn because it's a crime.
Yeah.
It's like it's not like a civil
The state of
case.
New York versus Dewey Finn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be like any person. It wouldn't be a tort law.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Criminal Justice Major.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So it wouldn't
insightful
matter what
point.
people thought because it's a crime.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I did feel like he kind of got off a little easy when it came to the police.
So abducting kids, impersonating a teacher,
Yeah.
all that. Cut to the rock show. Cut to him still teaching kids, the exact
Yes.
same kids that he kidnapped.
Yes.
Um,
And that's the whole thing. It's like the power,
the power
one,
of rock.
Hey, no,
dude.
yeah. One great show can change the world.
Isn't that's what he said? Right?
Yeah,
Wow. And it changed his life.
it did. He
It
became
really
a
did.
band teacher after
Yeah.
that, an after-school band teacher.
Can I tell you something? I was really upset that they did not win the Battle of the Bands.
No,
To this day,
dude,
I'm upset.
No,
No Vacancy was such a poser ass band.
Oh man,
I'm still really mad. Like I know they got the encore, and that I guess that's the spirit of it. But still,
no. I think that
because
them-
Dewey needed rent, dude. He needed money, and
That's
he got
true.
no freaking. He played the
he had
whole.
to pay for bail.
Dude,
he had a lot of.
I bet
bills.
Principal Mullins, and that's the thing. Did they get together? They had a romantic thing, but that's
He and
because
Mullins?
Principal.
No.
Yes, they did.
No.
Principal Mullins.
No, they
To be
never
fair,
had a
Principal
thing.
Mullins like knew that she was gonna probably die alone. So any type of like attention she got from, even if it was Dewey Finn, was gonna.
I
pay
think
the
that
bills
you're
there.
off on a ledge right there.
No,
There's
dude.
That was not.
Principal
going
Mullins
on.
was interested in Dewey.
No, she wasn't. She was just happy to have somebody who was going to be a friend. She was there as a friend. It was all friendship based.
Heck no.
You never saw any interest from her to him. Like,
Yeah, can you come with
wanting-
me to the parent teacher conference?
as a support? She has no relational
That's not the
support.
way it
It's all
works.
platonic.
That's not what the
it's
way it
very
works.
platonic.
It's not.
You know, it's from Dewey's perspective, very platonic.
Definitely, but he's playing the game.
I know he's playing the game, but it is still very platonic.
There's a game. So there's a game.
Yeah, there's a game.
There's a flirtatious game.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's all I need to know.
oh.
It's a flirtatious game. It's a flirtatious game that you're immediately pushing past platonic if there's a flirtatious game.
I think he's playing the game of just like sucking up, essentially, not necessarily like trying to get her to like him. I think that I think that it's truly platonic.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't think that Miss Mullins had any interest in him. She seemed like a prim, proper, like person who'd care about somebody who's organized.
He
is
had
not that.
She had, first of all, opposites
He didn't
attract. Opposites attract.
Oh,
Next.
okay.
But the point being is that she definitely did not care about him. But as soon as she saw that he was interested in just talking with her and paying attention to her, she immediately got interested. See, she's like, oh, like none of the teachers want to hang out. Nobody ever wants to hang out with me. And so just the interest or just the attention was enough to be like, hey, can you come with me to parent teacher? Hey, can you, and he started getting the invites from her, which is fair because she seems lonely and stuff. So I feel bad for her. And she even mouthed the word bitch.
Of course.
She's like, I'm a bitch.
yeah, a big one.
A big one. No, you're not. You know what? I think you're pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like, no, I'm not.
He's like, yeah, I think you're pretty cool. She's like, really? He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the most unconvincing statement. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. I don't really believe in the whole platonic thing, but we got to wrap up. So.
Oh, you don't believe in the platonic thing? Me neither. So I guess we're on the same page.
I
agree.
All right. All right. What are you rating this thing? What are you going?
Dude,
What are you sending to the
Hey
bank out
man,
of 10?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's an upset. I'm gonna have to say it's
That's fine.
a 6.
Wow.
I love the movie.
A 6 out of 10?
I have to call it what it is. I love it.
God.
I love it. I know what
my
their
God.
formula was. Richard Linklater writes a loose outline for a movie, and then they're going to like, hey, Jack Black, you just kind of improv and do your thing, and I'll make it make sense in post-production.
Wow.
That's what it is. So what I am going to say is that I love it. It's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
I gotta still be objective and call it what it is. Even
Wow.
though I can't. I love a 6 movie. I love it. It's it's a nostalgic, awesome movie. I love it. It's not more than a 6 out of 10.
That is hard to hear.
Yeah.
It's hard to hear it because this is one of my top 5 favorite movies.
Yeah.
So I think anything in my top 5 is a 10. So I'm going 10 out of 10 for School of Rock. I love it that much.
I'm trying not to die laughing right now.
I know.
I'm actually trying not to die laughing.
I believe it. I truly am going 10 out of 10.
Out of all the movies on the AFI Top 100, who's to say this is even on the AFI Top 100? It might be.
I think it's down towards like the 70s or something. Yeah, I think I saw it on
somewhere on there.
Yeah.
Who knows? But the point being is that is a 10 out of 10 for you.
Yeah, I think the problem is this. It's not a pure 10 out of 10. Like, if I were to see this later in life, I couldn't give it a 10 out of 10. I couldn't. But it's because it's so connected to my childhood. It's because I have so many fond memories of the movie that giving this anything lower than a 10 is, in a way, like devaluing some of like the nostalgic gold from my childhood. Like, nostalgia in my life is so precious. I love looking back on old memories and old stories. You know, you and I being in the neighborhood and old stories. You have a couple of like these awesome photos of us as kids,
right?
And those photos are 10s, man, because you don't have anything else. Mm-hmm. They resemble they're a snapshot from your childhood. Now, if I were to look at those photos nowadays with like other photos and it wasn't me who's in them, I couldn't rate those photos anything higher than probably a 1 or a 2. But it's because of the meaning in the snapshot of time that they represent. And that's what School of Rock is for me. It's a snapshot of childhood. Mm-hmm. It's a snapshot of how I felt at that time. Yeah. And this movie for me just brings back so much of that feeling and experience. So I totally am fine for others to give it, a rating that's much lower, but I value it so much higher. It just it touches something within me. And I'm sure I've touched it as well.
That's a great one. My goodness. Way to go.
So that's where I'm going to go. And I'm happy to close out this season with this movie. Yeah. And I'm proud that we got to end on it.
Yeah. This has been a great season.
It has.
First time ever podcasting. And
it's been a joy.
It's been a lot of joy.
I just love the fact that in 10, 20 years, these podcasts that we're recording right now are going to mean so much to us. Yeah. These are like the photo of us as kids.
Right.
It's recorded snapshots of our lives in this time, what we're doing, how our relationship is. It's capturing that. Yeah. I just cannot put a price tag on any sort of like documentation of my life as it is currently. It's very, very valuable because it ages so spectacularly. It's like a fine bourbon or a fine wine. It just gets better as the years go by. So
we can hope School of Rock only ages into the AFI Top 100 the way it should be.
I know,
like to the right spot,
towards the top, out of the 70s, and at least above 50.
Yeah, we can only hope it ages into that range.
I know.
Who knows where it's at now?
Yeah,
I don't
know where it is, but it's close. It needs some help, and we'll get it there.
Exactly.
Anyway, thank you all for listening and for enjoying this podcast so far. Season 2 is coming up, and we've got guests for every single episode. We're going to have 10 more episodes, 10 guests, 10 movies.
Right.
And then we're going to finish on a unique banger of a movie.
Right, and that's the plan, so hopefully we stick to it.
We will.
Awesome.
Catch you in the next one.
See you next season. Bye.